today's focus is about mirrors. So one thing that I want to talk about before I go into the Q&As today, okay, is to clarify this bit here. Feng Shui is all about energy. It's all about qi. What is the energy outside of your home, and what kind of energy is the front door bringing into the house? What is the energy inside the house, right? But outside of the container of Feng Shui, there's actually a lot of other energetic tools and wisdoms. And I just wanted to make it clear that Feng Shui as a study itself is all about energy, but not all energy is Feng Shui. Hopefully you guys can see the difference there. Okay? So the reason I wanted to preface this or pre-pave or start off this live stream with that in mind is because, especially where mirror is concerned, there's a lot of gray area there. Some mirrors do have a place in Feng Shui as a practice. Some situations with mirrors are more of an energy issue, and an energy issue that doesn't necessarily make it a Feng Shui issue. I hope you guys see where I'm trying to get here. So Feng Shui as a study is all about energy. What is the permanent energy? What is the annual energy? What is the monthly energy? When we do date selection, we look at the energy of the time that we're selecting it for, right? When we decide whether we want to activate something, we look at what the energy is there, so that if we activate, we're only activating the positive. And we also look at what is the negative energy, where are they? And then we do placements to remedy the negative energy. But there are so much more that falls outside of the catchment of Feng Shui. Okay, so where the bedroom, having a mirror in the bedroom, is that bad Feng Shui? The general consensus, even some of the grandmasters say, that if you have, especially if the mirror is reflecting the bed, then it is inviting either a third party into a relationship, or it makes for a less peaceful or restful sleep. And in the bedroom, in terms of the traditional wisdoms of Feng Shui, is that the bedroom is where things should be yin. It should be, it should be restful. It should be peaceful. Not too much activity. You're not going to have a party in your bedroom, right? You're not going to blast loud music or have really bright colors in the bedroom, because the bedroom is supposed to be yin. But if you have a mirror, especially a big mirror, reflecting either partially of the bed or reflecting the whole bed, then it is considered you're kind of activating or increasing the energy in there. And so does the mirror really invite a third party into the relationship? Personally, I don't see that as an issue all the time. But for some people, when you wake up, you see a reflection of yourself, right? And sometimes that might not bother you. Or for some people, it kind of, a mini jolt, right? When you get up and you see yourself. So that's part of the reason why it's not recommended to have mirror reflecting the bed. So what can you do if there is a mirror reflecting your bed? And this is actually something that I did when I was doing Feng Shui to attract a life partner. And in the end, I ended up, attracting my husband. We were actually almost married 20 years now. Time flies. One of the things that I did do is I bought a large piece of fabric, and I just covered that mirror when I'm done with it in the morning. Right? Or when I'm not dressing, I'm not doing my makeup or whatever, I cover it. That could be another thing that you can do. The Bakwa mirror and the usage of the Bakwa mirror is actually a little controversial. In the practice that I'm trained in, we actually don't use it. And I'm trained in classical Feng Shui. So not all Feng Shui schools believe in the Bakwa mirror as a remedy. Those of you who are not aware of what it is, it's an octagonal mirror with the 8 trigrams around it, right? And it's usually put above the front door as a protection. And we in my 13 years in practice and doing this as a business, as a consultant, I have never been taught to use this. And in fact, if you've done it wrong, and I've gotten feedback from other people who did it on their own, that it actually made things a little bit worse. Because sometimes that mirror, especially if that mirror actually reflects something that's bad. And I know some schools say the mirror will kind of reflect out the energy. To a point, that is true, but it also doubles the thing that you're trying to remedy, right? It visually doubles it up. So there's different schools of thought about the Bakwa mirror. Personally, in my lineage, we don't use it. So, can mirrors be used to remedy a missing corner? How many? So missing corners happen when you try to demarcate your layout, and there are certain directions that are kind of missing. I don't know what the other schools say about using mirrors to remedy a missing corner, not specifically. I don't know if they're asked to put the mirror outside on the outside wall or the inside wall of the house to kind of bump up and make up for the missing corner. But I wish missing corners were that easy to remedy. Lightings don't help, mirrors don't help. The only way to make up for a missing corner, the real way to make up for a missing corner, is actually to add that portion into the house, and not just as like a little garden corner or anything like that. It has to be part of the house. So most likely it needs renovation. You need to add in another room, or you need to increase the size of that part of the house to kind of make up for the deficient corner. So can mirrors remedy a missing corner? Unfortunately not. Mirrors reflecting things. What are the guidelines? And I'm already seeing in the comments that there are some good comments out there. Okay, so mirrors facing the entrance door. So remember when we were talking about the Bakwa mirror, of how it reflects the energy? That's what mirrors do, right? It's a reflective surface. So if your door is opening like this, and the moment you open the door and you see a mirror right in front of you, the general idea is that, again, the energy kind of bounces off of the mirror and goes out the door. The bigger concern for me really is, what is the distance between the door and that mirror in question? If it's just a few feet away, maybe 3 or 4 foot away from the front door, with or without a mirror, that could be an issue, because then the energy that comes through the door doesn't have a lot of breathing room to get welcomed into the house. It goes there and immediately either sees a wall or sees a mirror. When it sees a mirror, then the energy kind of bounces back out. When it sees a wall, it's kind of, crashes into the wall, right? So, which is why part of the reason why it's generally better to have a foyer, right? An open area in front of the front door. So the mirror being part of the issue, but if that wall with that mirror is further away from the door, think of it. If you open the door and the wall with or without the mirror is maybe 10, 12 foot away from the door, would that now be an issue? It's much less of an issue. In fact, I would even say it's a non-issue, right? So remember, in Feng Shui, there's no generalized Feng Shui. There are definitely some things that are kind of like the main commandments for Feng Shui, but there are certain things that you need to actually look at the actual situation to suss out if it's good or not. Okay. Mirrors near a stove. Oh, the stove in Feng Shui is really important. It is a symbol of prosperity. And prosperity is not just financially. It's health, it's your relationships as well. Now, the idea of reflecting the stove, how many of you guys remember maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was the in thing to have backsplashes where it's like mirror tiles, right? That reflects the stove. And supposedly Feng Shui was, this is to double up the prosperity from the stove. The actual fact is it's too much fire in the kitchen. You're doubling up the fire element. Especially if your kitchen elementally cannot take more fire element, you're actually doing yourself more harm. And in my 13 years doing this as a Feng Shui consultant, I have seen those mirror tiles, and health is an issue, finances is an issue. And I have my clients, if it's already like stick-on tiles, then I have them cover it up with sticky, those privacy sheets that people usually put on bathroom mirrors, bathroom windows, so people outside can't look in. I usually have them do that just to cut down on the reflection on of the stove. So no mirrors reflecting the stove. How about mirrors facing a window? How about mirrors facing a window? Now, always, this is partially feng shui. It is partially energy work as well. If your mirror is bringing in a beautiful view from outside, right, then that's a good thing. If your mirrors, I mean, in interior design, mirrors are also used to kind of bring in the sunlight as well. If the room that you're placing the mirror in has auspicious energy, and making it brighter, making it more yang will increase that prosperity, then placing the mirror there is not necessarily a bad thing. Just be very mindful to see what the mirror is reflecting. What if there's like an electrical, I don't want to say electrical pole, like an external poison arrow from outside, and you place your mirror there and it's actually doubling up that poison arrow from out, that's, so it's brought in from the outside to the inside, that might not be a good thing. So wherever you're placing the mirror, always look at where and what it is reflecting. So in and of itself, mirror reflecting the window is not necessarily a bad thing. You just need to look at what it is reflecting. Okay. Very similar to having mirrors reflecting clutter. And this is one of the questions in one of my students that's kind of confused him, because I said many, many times that decluttering is not feng shui. So he asked me, well, Safrina, if decluttering is not in and of itself a feng shui practice, why is mirror reflecting clutter a bad thing? So remember, going back to this part here that I mentioned earlier, feng shui is about energy, but not everything energy is feng shui. So clutter, well, that is not, honestly, you guys, if you go back into the classical feng shui textbooks, there is not one breath, not one iota of mention of decluttering as part of feng shui. I know this is very, I've had a lot of people jump down my throat because of this. But I'm sorry, it's just traditionally and classical feng shui wisdom, decluttering does not even get a mention. It's not a thing. It's a modern day creation, okay? However, having said that, what is the energy of clutter, right? And, most of us, we would have our own ideas about a cluttered space. So if the mirror is reflecting the clutter, then it also doubles up whatever energy that the clutter means to you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So even though decluttering or being organized or keeping a place zen has nothing to do on whether or not that place is good or bad feng shui, but energetically, it could be an issue because it could block energy, right? It could make energy more stagnant, but it's outside of the feng shui studies. Okay, so hopefully you guys can differentiate which container those things come from. And feng shui is very complementary with many different many other different energetic wisdoms. It doesn't have to be either or, right? Feng shui can definitely work in tandem, in harmony with other energetic wisdoms. But just being clear, what is feng shui and what is not feng shui? Okay, this is a good one. I actually do have this question. So put it in the chat. What do you think is the element of mirror? What do you think is the element of the mirror? So what is the element of the mirror? Some people say it's water. Some people say it's metal. Now, in the olden days, right, the first mirror was a reflective sheet of metal, right? or before there were mirrors, people look in their reflection in like on a peaceful river surface, right? That's their mirror. So that's kind of like historically how people look at their reflection. But now, though, if you look at what mirrors are made of or how they're made, see, I'm seeing earth, I'm seeing water, and metal. I'm seeing like 3 different elements here from the comments. So if you really look at how mirrors are made of, it's a sheet of glass, and it's a sheet of glass and backed with a reflective surface of a sheet of metal, right? Or some reflective metal surface, right? And so there's some metal there, and then the glass, which is made from silica, is considered earth. Okay, so it can be both elements, but between the glass and the reflective surface, if you look at the mirror like a cutaway of the mirror, what is the majority component of a mirror? It's mostly earth. And if you're trying to move a big mirror, what is the component that makes that mirror so heavy? Like some mirrors, you need tons and tons of guys to move, right? It is the earth element that makes it so heavy. So the earth is the majority element when it comes to mirrors. So if you are in a space that can take more earth element, then a heavy mirror is a really good one to use. And vice versa. If having too much earth element actually increases negative energy there, for those of you guys who follow Flying Star Feng Shui, you know negative earth element would be the number 5 and the number 2, right? If you have heavy mirrors or heavy glass, although I know we talk about mirrors in this one specifically, then that heavy mirror is actually going to increase that earth energy, which will then strengthen the number 5, number 2, and even now the number 7, which is metal, because we know earth element increases metal element, and we also do not like the number 7 to be too strong. Yeah, so I know a lot of books say the element of mirror is water. Where's the water? Where's the actual water element? Is there water in the glass? No. So we actually look at what is it actually made of. So a lot of the times when I do my certification course or when I do my annual training with people who register for the annual training, we look at what is the main thing to either, so let's say increasing a certain element, is to look for things that are of its actual element. So if you need more earth, if you need more wood, for instance, then it would be best to put actual plants. If you need more metal, you put more metallic stuff. If you need more fire, you maybe put your stove there or turn the lights on, right? If you need more water, put a pail of water. The actual element itself is what I have found to be the best activator and the best remedy. The second best activator and remedy is the colors. And we're not going to go into that. I have other YouTube videos that go through the colors and its elements. But where is the water in the mirror is my question. So I do not buy it, that mirrors are water element. Is a TV in the bedroom okay as it's not reflecting your bed? It's absolutely fine. And in fact, most of the TVs nowadays, the screen is also not as reflective as it used to be. It's more the reflection that's the issue. If you have those highly reflective TV screens and it's, reflecting your bed, then just like the mirror, you can just cover it up. How about a mirror facing the toilet door? Mirror facing the toilet door is not an issue. You just don't want a mirror to be reflecting the toilet bowl. This does not, however, include the mirror that is in the bathroom. I'm talking about, okay, if you can visualize this. If your bathroom door is open, and outside of the bathroom is another mirror. And that external mirror with the bathroom door open actually reflects the toilet bowl. This is an actual situation. I was sitting, I was in my client's dining room, and she had a big mirror hanging on the wall of her dining room. And then off of the dining room is like a powder room, like a three-piece bathroom, right? Three-piece bath. And that three-piece bath, the door was open. From that mirror that's hanging on the wall in the dining room, I can see the toilet bowl. So that is inauspicious. A quick remedy is always to make sure that that bathroom door is closed, but a better remedy is actually to move the toilet bowl or take down the mirror. But my client really, really loved the mirror, and it was an expensive mirror. So the temporary answer to that would be to just close the door. For those of you who have heard about mirror reflecting the bottom of the staircase, I am really interested to see what the logic around that. Okay, mirrors reflecting staircase. Now, there's this thing about poison arrows, right? And I don't want you guys to lose sleep over poison arrows. Some poison arrows are bad. Some poison arrows, not so much. Now, we can't get away. So the thing about doing Feng Shui is you need to still be able to live. You still need to be able to operate in a house that will have some form of poison arrows, right? And poison arrows are usually those sharp corners. And so we're not going to be able to get away from staircases that don't have that corner, right? And most of them are not that sharp anyway, right? Especially if it's like wood or whatever. Usually it would like be kind of curved. That's okay. But if it reflects the full staircase, the issue that I have is what is the energy that is dominant in that staircase area, right? So the reason why I'm asking, just so I'm clear, so the whole household goes up and down the staircase all day, every day, right? If the energy in the staircase is actually not good, every time someone goes up and down that staircase, the mirror is reflecting that full activity. It doubles it up. Okay, it increases the activation of the positive energy when the staircase is being used, and vice versa. So before I even say if it's good or bad to reflect the full staircase, you have to look at what does using the staircase mean in terms of Feng Shui energy. What is it activating? If the mirror is only reflecting partially, I wouldn't even lose sleep over it. How large of a mirror would negatively affect a room with a 5 or a 7? That's a great question. I would say if it's a mirror that's heavy enough, you need two people to carry it. That's a pretty hefty earth energy right there. If it's just a simple light one, like a makeup mirror or whatever, again, I wouldn't lose sleep over it, right? It's just one sheet of mirror, light mirror in relation to a fairly big room. But if it's heavy, that is when you know that the earth element is pretty substantial right there. How about round or oval mirror above a fireplace? Not an issue. Main thing is, what is that mirror reflecting? The mirror itself, because it's above a fireplace, it's not reflecting the fire, which is fine, which is good, in fact. But what else is it reflecting? Is it reflecting an internal poison arrow? Is it reflecting, energetically inauspicious things? Okay. Mirror in the dining area. So, mirror in the dining area is fine. Like there's the idea of using mirror to kind of double up your food, double up the prosperity. Again, if it looks great, if your dining area always looks, breaming with prosperity and auspicious things, then using the mirror is absolutely fine. Is saltwater cure actually more earth element, or is it okay to cure 7 and 2? The saltwater cure actually, traditionally, the saltwater cure actually has all 5 elements. We just don't use all the 5 elements anymore. Those of you who saw my video with on how to do saltwater cure, I have it on my YouTube channel, so you can look it up. Like the earth, the salt is earth element. The water in the salt cure is water element. There's 6 coins in the salt cure, that's metal element. And you either and you use like a green rubber band, that's to signify the wood element, and fire. That the fire, well, traditionally you also wrap like a red ribbon around it too. So that's to kind of to signify that all 5 elements are in the saltwater cure. But honestly, all we use now is just the jar, the salt, the water, and the coins to remedy it. We haven't found that you really needed to add all the 5 elements in there for the salt cure to work. So it's to cure the 7, the 2, the 3, and it's also to cure whatever negative human energy is there. If there's a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, a lot of illness, the salt cure, you will find that the salt cure actually absorbs that negative energy too. So it absorbs the negative Feng Shui energy, and it also absorbs negative energy that's non-Feng Shui related. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Should I keep my bathroom door closed all the time? I can see my bathroom door from my front door, but not in front of it. So what's really important is when you're at the front door, like right under the door frame, okay? So you're looking up, you see the top of the door, right? That's the important location to be standing at. When you're standing at the door frame and you scan, if you scan and you see a toilet bowl, or if you scan and you see a stove, those are the 2 things that you do not want to see right at the door frame. If you step one, because the line of vision can change quite dramatically once you start even just like 1 foot into the house, right? So the main way to see if the toilet bowl or the stove is in a bad position. It's fine if you see the bathroom. It's fine if you see the kitchen. But do you see the bathroom, the toilet bowl, or do you see the stove? That's the main thing. At the front door, if you scan and you see a fireplace is not an issue. Unless you cook and cook food at your fireplace, which is, I guess in the olden days, that's what they did, right? Is the hearth. That's not an issue. It's the stove is the one that you want to watch out for. Yeah, mirror reflecting kitchen but not reflecting the stove is not an issue. Yeah. Okay. I've been advised, I don't know what a hermetic feng shui master is. So I don't know what that means. To place a mirror inside a toilet room that faces the front door to contain its negative energy inside the toilet room itself. What do you think of it? How do you contain qi? For those, especially those who took my certification course. I know there's some of you in here. How do you contain qi in a room? Those of you who took the certification course, put it in the comment. Let me know if you understand this. How do you contain the qi in any room? Walls or doors. So if the bathroom already has 4 walls and it has a door, you don't need that mirror. Just closing the door, right? Making sure that the qi doesn't escape from the bathroom into other places in the house. Just by closing the door, job done. You don't need that mirror. Okay? Containing the qi is really simple. It needs 4 walls and a roof. Obviously a floor as well. Floor, roof, or ceiling, 4 walls. Qi contained. In the tiny home, the front door opens into the kitchen, though, so the stove is seen standing in the doorframe. What do you do about it? You cover it from view somehow. So when you're standing at the door frame, we're not talking about mirrors anymore. And I realize that. If you're standing at the door frame, if you can cover the stove from view, either with a curtain, with tall plants, with bookcases. I know it's a tiny house, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but you just need to block it from view. Okay. I should do a live stream on stoves now, it seems. I'm getting a lot of stove questions. What about buying a bagua mirror from a thrift store? I would not. We do not use bagua. Yeah, we do not use bagua. So, and I have seen bad results from people using the bagua. So you don't need, in fact, we don't use, my lineage, we don't use the bagua mirror to do feng shui. We use the 5 elements. We look at the sitting and the facing. Feng shui is not all about putting Chinese looking stuff. Feng shui is about putting the right elements. It's about using more a prosperous room and minimizing your usage of a less prosperous room. It's about directions. What directions are you absorbing based on the feng shui energy calculation? Astro, camera, it belongs to which element and planet? I don't know about planet. But how big and how much camera do you have is my question. Don't sweat the small stuff, you guys. How are you going to live sweating the small stuff? And that's part of the reason why a lot of people hate feng shui. I remember I did a live stream one time and I had bookcases behind me. And a comment was like, oh, this person is being cut up by bookcases. Like, she doesn't know her feng shui. But bookcase is a minor thing. It doesn't cut you up. Okay? It's contradictory of what most books will have you. Like, how could you walk through life, walk through malls, or walk through business areas without being being cut up by all these poison arrow shelves? How are you going to live like that, right? Those things don't even make much of a difference anyway. In terms of internal poison arrow, there's only a couple of poison arrows that will make a difference. Little things like edges of a table, a corner table, or whatever. Those things do nothing to you. Okay. I have a beautiful 2-meter high and 1.8-meter wide mirror in front of my front door. My apartment is rented, so I cannot remove it. What can I do? First of all, don't panic. Remember when I said the salt cure, the feng shui salt cure, it doesn't just absorb bad feng shui energy. It absorbs bad energy, period. So when you're worrying about bad feng shui in your house, it might be true that the house has bad feng shui. But if you're panicking over it, you're putting more negative energy into the space. You're not doing anyone any good. So take a deep breath and get creative, right? Someone's mentioned in the comment, cover the mirror. Job done. Yeah. Okay. Where can you put the mirror? You can put the mirror anywhere. Let's make it simple. Okay. So where can you put the mirror? First of all, what is the mirror reflecting? Is it reflecting things that energetically feels a little bit negative? Right? Is it clutter? Is it reflecting a poison arrow? Is it reflecting the toilet bowl or the stove or the bed? Right? And if that place is being used a lot, I actually wouldn't put a mirror in a room that is not auspicious. Why? It's because when the room is used, you're doubling up the appearance of the usage of the room, right? So you put a mirror in a place that can take that yang energy, that yang activity, and can also take earth element. That's a whole other discussion that cannot be covered on a short live stream. But those are the simple guidelines in terms of where to put a mirror. So Nanette, you're asking, can you put a mirror in the foyer? Okay. What is the energy in your foyer? What is the mirror reflecting? Right? Ask yourself that question when you're trying to figure out if it's a good spot. to put a mirror. Oh, this is a good one. How about a mirror that's not a full mirror? It's divided. Or there are mirrors where, and those of you who are gonna watch the replay, I'll find some examples of mirrors where it's kind of like little bits of smaller pieces of mirror. That I don't like. Is it really feng shui though? No. But energetically, if you're standing in front of that it's not even a mirror because it's just little pieces of mirror reflecting pieces of you back. Energetically, that's not good because you're just seeing fragments of you, right? Not necessarily a feng shui thing, but whatever that those mini mirrors are reflecting back to you doesn't give you a good vibe. Even if it looks good, right? Maybe the designer made the mirror, the metal structures or whatever look really good, but really energetically, it's cutting you up. Not so much of a feng shui thing, more of an energy thing. Anu saying, I have a mirror facing my camera screen in my family room. Why is it an issue? Is your camera bad? Does the camera make you feel bad? If not, then that's no issue. Okay, I will. So I'd like to do a course on this. Is there one available? There's, in feng shui, there's structural issues and there's energy issues. What we're going through today is more of a structural topic. And most of it really is just logic thinking. If you really think about it, it's really using your mind to reason what could be good or not so good structural stuff, right? The harder thing to find is the energetic stuff. That's the harder part to find good teachings or good trainings on. That one, I have a certification course on. I have one coming up in July. So if you guys are interested in the energetic part of it, okay? And in fact, in most situations, if you can't change the structural part, there's usually, not always, but there's usually an energetic remedy to it. Not 100%, not all the time. I'll be very frank with you. Some structural issues can only be remedied with like renovation. But some structural issues might have an energetic solution to it, depending on what it is. I know I'm being a little bit cryptic, but there's so much. The world of feng shui is such a huge breadth in terms of knowledge, book of knowledge, right? So I do have a Flying Star certification happening in July. So if you guys are interested in that, you can email me and we can talk. I do have a selection process. I don't accept everyone just because they can pay for the course. I want to make sure I get the right students in there. Okay. I put a vase with a plant on the floor in front of the mirror. If that room can take more wood, right? Because plants are wood element. And again, I guess the bigger the plant, the more wood element it would be, right? So then the mirror would reflect that, would double that up. My friend put small mirrors above her toilet. She says it's for prosperity. Is she prosperous? If she's not, then you know it's not true. If she is, I don't know. Maybe something else is working for her. It's not the mirror. I can tell you that. Mirror in basement for working out or dancing. Should it be covered up when not in use? Yeah, like dance studios would have like wall-to-wall mirrors, right? You can't expect. Okay. Question is, what is it reflecting when it's not in use? Maybe there's just one part of the mirror that's reflecting, I don't know, something that's not so good, right? Then maybe you can just cover that part of the mirror. If you can cover the full one, even better, but it's not necessary. The question is, what is it reflecting? For a lot of the questions that I'm seeing on the comment, I won't say yes or no to it. I can't, because what I want you guys to start learning is where the mirror is concerned, is what is it reflecting? What if the front door is in a negative energy and reflecting a mirror? Will it stop the negative energy from coming in the house? If you don't want bad energy to come through a door, don't use a mirror. Just don't use that door. I know it's not an option for most people, especially if you're in an apartment or a condo. You only have one door to come in and out of, right? And if the energy that's coming in through a door is not good, and you have an option of a back door or a side door, that is what I would suggest. Okay, because every time you open that door, some chi will still come in, whether or not there's mirror or not, right? And even if it's a negative door and you're using it occasionally, right? That's what I do with my clients. I say, okay, don't use the front door, use the garage door instead, because the garage door has money energy coming through there, not at the front door. But if they have to use it, let's say for Amazon deliveries or whatever, that's fine. You just use the right elements to remedy the negative energy. It's not realistic to ask people to not use, especially if they only have one door, okay? I'm not going to expect someone to crawl through the window. That's not logical or possible way of living that way, right? So instead of using a mirror at the front door to deflect the energy, which is not the best way to do it, look at what is the element that is negative at that front door, and then go back to the 5-element cycle, you guys. If you're using Feng Shui, you have to remember the 5-element cycle. So once you know what's the element of the negative energy, then you go back into the 5-element cycle and use the element that weakens or exhausts that negative element. That's the real way of using Feng Shui. If the mirror is on a high up ledge in a bedroom to promote light in the room, not to use for looking at oneself, would this still be putting in too much yang for sleeping? That would be fine. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. A TV turned off in a way becomes mirrored. Do we treat it energetically as if it was a mirror? Yes. Yeah, same thing. But like I mentioned before, some of the newer TVs, the screen is not as reflective as it used to be before. Maybe they're using less glass. I don't know, but it's not as reflective now. Yes, D, you got it. Question of the week. What is it reflecting? For those of you who are trying to figure out your mirror placements, ask yourself, what is it reflecting? Is it a Feng Shui concern, or is it an energetic concern? Or an energetic concern. I remember I did, this is not so much mirror, but more artwork. I did a consultation, and the client had a huge hanging. It's a tapestry of a lioness or a lion. A tiger with its cubs. So he looked at me concerned. He's like, oh, I guess it's no good, right? It's bad Feng Shui. I'm like, well, one, what does it tell you? When you look at that tapestry or a painting or whatever, what feeling does it give you? And he said, well, it's the tiger, watching over his family, watching over his cubs, making sure that they're safe, right? Protecting over it. So I said, then energetically, that's not an issue, right? So it doesn't fall under the Feng Shui category, but energetically, if something, not just you, I guess, but makes most people feel, because art is very subjective, right? But if most people feel good vibes coming from something, then energetically, that's not an issue. So if your mirror is reflecting something that most people would agree is not an issue, I'm not talking about Feng Shui here. I'm talking about the energy. What vibes does the reflection give you, right? Then that's a good guideline to go with. Now, not everyone is trained in Feng Shui, which is why I said energy. What kind of energetic vibe is it giving back to you? Doing Feng Shui placements doing mirror placement based on Feng Shui is a whole other thing, because not everyone knows about poison arrow. Not everyone knows about not reflecting the toilet bowl and the stove, right? Which is why I go back to this. Please remember, Feng Shui is all about qi, but not everything, or energy, but not everything energy is Feng Shui. But can they go together? Yes. Okay? Yeah. All right. Wow. We're more than an hour in. So I will leave it there. Yeah. And there are other questions here that are not necessarily mirror related, but I might put a pin on that and maybe cover it in either a short video or maybe another live stream. But today has gotten me thinking about stoves. Although talking about stoves will open a can of worms where I will not be able to give proper answer to, because stove placement is actually really layered. For stove placement, you need to know what your permanent energy is. And to know your permanent energy is really where Flying Star is concerned. It's not a simple thing to talk about. So if you guys are wanting to know about stove placement, bed placement, if you're designing a house, maybe a door placement, then join me in my certification course. I do have one coming up in July. It will be a hybrid. So I have up to 20 spaces available in Toronto. So if you want to fly into Toronto, you can join me, be in the same room with me, and I can give you a proper hug. I would love for 20 of you guys to join me. For those who don't want to travel or don't have the option to travel, maybe you have kids at home and stuff like that, you can join me in July online. It's all going to happen simultaneously. I'm very, very excited because I've just engaged a company downtown Toronto who specializes in hybrid teaching and hybrid training. So they have all these high-tech gears. I'm a bit of a tech geek. They have all these high-tech gears to make sure that the video is good, the audio is good, that my interaction with the in-person and online students are going to be seamless and well integrated. No one's going to feel left out because they're not in the room with me, because that's really important for me. That's coming up in July. So if anyone wants more information about that, email me or send me a message on Facebook, and we'll start with the selection process. The selection process is really simple, but it is really important because I have learned that not everyone is ready or not everyone is going to use the Feng Shui knowledge properly with integrity. Which is very rare, but I've come across once or twice. So most of the time it's not quite ready, because Feng Shui, you guys, Feng Shui is an amazing study, but it's a bit of a mind F. Whatever I'm able to cover on live streams is just the tip of the iceberg, because there's so much that you need to know about your space before you can even figure out what to activate, what to remedy, and how to activate or remedy. So that's the crux of it, pretty much. That's what I'm going to be covering in July. And someone just asked me yesterday, well, you're not the only one teaching Flying Star. Why should I take your course? Well, I'm not here to kind of like convert people, but if you want advanced Feng Shui based on the lineage that I belong to, you can only take the advanced courses if you took the beginning course. And those who've already taken my Flying Star course, you have already heard in August, I have my Xuan Kong Da Gua date selection course. So you can't get into that advanced date selection course unless and until you take the first course with me, because I want everyone to have the same foundational information. Yeah, because other people in other Flying Star Feng Shui courses, even the beginning one, when they go into my Grandmaster's beginning Flying Star Feng Shui course, they realize that our textbook covers way, way more than other schools. So the topic might be the same, but the depth that we explore is different. Yes, so the beginner class, I would say beginner to intermediate, Charlie. Yeah, that one is happening in July. Okay. So you can go to fengshuiandprosper.com. I don't know why I don't have this on. And there will be a link. On that page, there's a few clickable spots, but you can click on certification and get more info on the course there. If you want the beginner class, okay? If you don't even want to talk about certification right now, then join me in this one. This is the baby step, beginner one, fengshui2022.com. This will be, for those of you who took this class for the very first time this year, feel free to share it in the comments, how different it is in terms of how we do Feng Shui. It's very different. And it will also help you clarify and get clear on what real Feng Shui looks like and what is absolute BS fast food Feng Shui. Okay, so Feng Shui 2022, I have the link there. That is the absolute beginner. You'll know how to determine your facing, determine your period, and how to demarcate your layout. We have a great Facebook group in there. I have many senior members who are happy to help, and I have my eyes in there at least once a day, Monday to Friday as well. So that would be what I highly recommend. Kimberly's asking, when is your beginning course scheduled? It is July. So this is the certification level that I'm talking about now, not the annual training. The annual training, you can register anytime now and get instant access. But the certification course is happening July 14th till the 17th. And you can join in person in Toronto or you can join online. Okay. Do you know anyone who does personal astrological energy? I do, but I don't believe he's taking clients right now. So Feng Shui 2022 is all online. I know I'm talking about two different things here. The annual stuff is all done online. Once you register, you get all the video trainings. The certification course, if you want to go deeper with Flying Star Feng Shui, that is online and in person. So either you're in Canada or you're outside and you don't mind flying into Toronto and join me, that's in person. I can take up to 20 and already 4 spots are taken. Or you can join me online for that one. Still kind of confusing because Feng Shui, real Feng Shui is not simple, you guys. And that is why real Feng Shui is not as popular as fast food Feng Shui. Because fast food Feng Shui, it's easy to regurgitate. It's easy to make a blog post out of it. It's easy for people to implement, but it's not Feng Shui. It really isn't. If any one of you are still doing Feng Shui based on Gua number, if any of you are still doing Feng Shui based on like the East group, West group, what the kind of Feng Shui that the mainstream media have right now, if you really trace back historically, has its roots on the Chinese emperor. Okay, so the Chinese emperor had his own Feng Shui master, right? They have their own Feng Shui masters. And the people, the lay people, they hear about Feng Shui and they want to make their lives better. And they're like, oh, let's try to figure this Feng Shui thing out. So the emperor told his master to start disseminating fake Feng Shui information to appease the people, but not give them the power to change their lives through real Feng Shui. And from there, it trickles down into, the Western world, where most of the Western world gets the fake version. So that's how it happens. What is the style of Feng Shui that I practice? The main method is Flying Star. I'm also trained in Shen Kong Dakwa. I'm trained in 6 methods as well. 6 methods Feng Shui is not talked about very much because not a lot of people are trained in that. But that's part of the reason why there's a lot of these people are like, well, it's on Google, so it must be true. Because I was telling someone decluttering is not Feng Shui. They're like, well, it's on Google. It must be true. Just because something is on Google doesn't make it true, right? Like, do you go to Google for medical advice? No. And so I'm like, that's not even a good argument right there, because you cannot trust Google, because who puts the content on Google? It's the people who don't know what they're talking about Feng Shui wise. They're just regurgitating information that they got elsewhere with no firm knowledge on real Feng Shui. So real Feng Shui is really confusing. It's very layered. Before you get to F, which is like, where do I place the stuff? You have to learn about A, B, C, D, E first. Then you be able to figure out, this is the element that I need. This is the permanent energy in the space. This is where the money spot is. This is where the relationship spot is. It's so layered, and it's actually very nuanced as well. So I wish Feng Shui was simpler. I wish Feng Shui was easier, but that's just not the case. But Feng Shui 2022 is at its simplest, easiest form that I could give to people without diluting and without betraying the essence of real Feng Shui. Okay. Is there a Feng Shui consultant near Dallas that you can refer to? No, but we do. I no longer take clients, but my associates who are trained and certified by me, we do long distance consults as well. Okay. It's okay. That's a great question, Kimberly. How do we know what is real Feng Shui? It's hard to know. But the main thing, one of the main clues, okay, is if they don't talk about using a compass. And if it's generalized, if they say everyone can activate the north this year or everyone can activate the south this year, that's not true. Feng Shui is never, well, I don't want to say never. Feng Shui is rarely, very, very rarely generalized. So if you see a book or if you see an online article that just says everyone just do the same Feng Shui, doesn't matter what your house is, doesn't matter what compass direction, doesn't matter where your door is, your bedroom, walk away. Okay. Yeah. So if you need it as simple as possible, then join me in the annual training. I can tell you it's still a lot. It's still a lot to go through, even as a baby step. But at least that's where I do not allow any fast food Feng Shui content in there at all. Okay. And also, Kimberly, going back to your question, okay, real Feng Shui is not hit and miss. All of my students who took the certification course, once they learn how to calculate the permanent energy, and this is actually a term from one of my students. I never claim things that are not mine, okay? But one of my Feng Shui students, she used this term, and I'm like, that is amazing. Can I use it? She said forensic Feng Shui, meaning once you learn how to calculate the energy of a space, you can actually work back because energy is constantly moving. It's never the same. This year's energy is different from last year. This month's energy is different from last month. That's the real power of Feng Shui. And my students who did the certification course, they do forensic Feng Shui on their own place. And they'll be like, oh, this thing happened to my family in this year and this month. And the flying star energy aligned with that. Or real Feng Shui helps you do forensic Feng Shui. Real Feng Shui also helps you do forecasting Feng Shui. I really need to trademark that. Okay? Because once you know how to calculate the energy, you can forecast the potential happenings in the future. And my students, just by taking the certification course, they're starting to see the puzzles are starting to fit in their Feng Shui journey. And it's amazing. As a teacher, it's amazing to see the light bulb moments. That's when you know it's real Feng Shui. Because, as Sylvia just posted, hashtag flying stars don't lie. Yeah. Now, again, Feng Shui is just 1/3. Feng Shui is earth energy. There's also heaven energy, which is your karma, your past life, your astrology, right? Your spiritual lessons that you've agreed to learn in this lifetime. And there's also mankind energy, which is our actions, our decisions, our discipline, our self-sabotage, okay? So Feng Shui on its own is not make or break. Feng Shui still has to work with the heaven energy, work with the mankind energy for best results. But Feng Shui as a book of knowledge, I know I'm probably preaching to the preaching to the choir here, right? Most of you guys are Feng Shui enthusiasts in here. But the world of Feng Shui is just so mysterious and exciting at the same time. I know most of my students, they get scared because a lot of Feng Shui, Feng Shui also tells you where the negative areas are, right? And that's usually where our mind focuses on. Our mind generally focuses on the negative. But Feng Shui is also about realigning ourselves with the most positive energies possible. And like I said, I wish it was simpler, that I could just blurt out a few things for you guys to just grab onto in this live stream. Which is why it's easier for me to do structural content, because structural content like mirrors and toilets and windows and whatever is a little bit easier to teach. Energetic content has layers under it. So, you know, I can only choose certain topics to cover in live streams because I don't want to potentially give you guys content that you're gonna get partial information on, try to do it on your own, and then get yourself into trouble. Okay. Yeah, you just joined Feng Shui 2022. Welcome. Interested in certification, but I'm new to, so don't even look at certification right now if you're new to Feng Shui. One step at a time. Okay, because in the certification we go deep. And that's going to overwhelm you if you're still a newbie. Okay. Can the beginning class help you figure out stagnant energy in one's life? No, that's a lot to ask for a beginning class, but it is to help you align your home with the energies of this year. Yeah. Okay. There's lots of videos. Once you register, I don't know, like maybe 20, 30 hours worth of videos, plus the Facebook group. Someone mentioned that, yeah, Anita says, my first year in Feng Shui 2022, and I learned so much and still learning. But it is so great. We get answers to all our doubts and questions, at least pertaining to the content that we cover in Feng Shui 2022. Okay. There are certain questions that are great questions, but it's not covered within that container. But yeah, I'm finding all that you're saying to be true. This is a fascinating topic. Yeah. And Feng Shui is a lifelong journey. I still get new layouts that stump me, right? I still get new layouts that get demarcated differently from other homes. If anything, please understand this. Feng Shui for your home has to be unique to your home. How you Feng Shui your home is different from your neighbor just beside you, because they have a different layout. How you Feng Shui for your home is different from someone from the other side of the earth. Therefore, most books, good luck trying to do Feng Shui based on the content of a book, because they cannot. It's not realistic or logical or possible for a book to cover all the nuances for you to Feng Shui your energy based on your home. Which is why I'm doing the format that I have in my annual offerings, because then you have someone looking at your layout, looking at your Google map to make sure that the workbook, you follow the workbook based on your home. Okay. And there's bound to be more questions after that. So we try, if it's within the container, then in the Facebook group, we will try to help you with those questions. If it is deeper than that, or if you want more after that, then it's the certification for you. Okay. Have a great day. Thanks so much for participating. Thanks so much for your feedback and your amazing questions. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. If I am new to you and you love classical Feng Shui, meaning real Feng Shui that gives you real results, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because I will be giving new videos every Thursday, and make sure you don't miss out on that.